doing this just like a little bit again. Hopefully, I could just do just 5 minutes. I am kind of wondering on like, because if I want to have it like open for anyone to like talk or ask any questions in this, doing it like the very start of the stream is kind of like sudden. on I don't think Mini like suddenly jumps in and so yeah, I'm just not too sure to what to do about that. And to do like a split, I'm gonna like stop stream for a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to like focus on just like with this title, like what is fearing God? On what I, in my 40 minutes before, I was like kind of going all over the place. I kind of figured that would happen. Uh, but yeah, it's like there is a very in-depth thing to like, because it's of course not. Uh, there's like two huge levels with it, like what I was trying to talk about before, which which is one is being uh, fearing, being very fearful of punishment, and then the other is a good healthy fear, where that is fearing God and getting to know Him more and wanting to actually come to Him more, because you honor Him as a Almighty God, all powerful and full of grace and love. So it's not just like God's not just up there, the big man that just, if you just cross his path, he's going to like uh, destroy you and stuff. He's not out there to do that. Anamata. Is that a word? And hey, Doc. Uh, but yeah, that's like totally different side of like the I guess like the big point I just want to like say here in like the few minutes that I want to do this little talk is fearing God is so much different than having like a phobia or like running away from stuff. Which, by the way, like I've been, just to say out there, like I've been called like a homophobic and transphobic and all that. Is like, are you really knowing the context of the word that you're saying and labeling people with? Because I can say that's like that's just a lie, because I don't run away with people that live that way. I of course disagree living that way. I would say, especially like, I would say according with the Bible, it is a sinful life to live that way. But it does not mean I run away and think it's would be in danger to like even be around someone like that. I of course won't go and celebrate. Which there was a really good podcast, which I don't know if many like know about. I have no idea what my iPhone wanted to autocorrect it. Wanted to autocorrect it to that word. It's an interesting word that it autocorrected. But hi, Doc. Welcome. How are you doing? I'm just leaving it open for like a few minutes before like get in a game, which is kind of something I'm trying like start of like my streams is to just talk about life a little bit. Label this fearing God, but of course could like fear just a little bit. And now I already lost train of thought of what I was like going to say. Uh, oh, nice! You did a ski trip. but but yeah, it's not like fear of like running away. And oh, that's what I was going to point out podcast of what's his name? I gotta look at this phone, which it's gonna make me Albert Moeller. Let me type it in chat just so like you see the spelling. Albert Moeller. Let me go back to being live on this there. Get my face tracking back. There you go. But he has really in like Look to Truth podcast basically. Course falls off like with the Bible, like with any good any Christian would want to do. Uh, Again, like we certainly have good reason to trust and believe the Bible being authoritative. Uh, Again, I could like expand onto that, but that could be a whole nother topic. But made some really nice points on just with like attending marriages on, well, what is a marriage? What do you like? What can we declare as a marriage? And like a same couple marriage, we won't even say that's a marriage. That's just, and that's why we won't celebrate it, is because you're not even ordaining what a marriage is. You should watch The Devil in Hollywood by Church Militant. It talks about corruption in the Hollywood Catholic Church and its connection to me. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's, and that's with, and that could be like a whole other topic too. Another like big topic to go into is these, what some would say is like a Christian religion or so, but it's very much a it takes some truths, but then it like veers off of major doctrines, and it's like, and that's the important thing is like to really keep hold onto truthful doctrines that the Bible talks about. Like the doctrine of salvation and stuff. That's very important to understand coming into God and the Bible. Is simply just look at the Bible. What does it say on those things? Don't just like follow the masses on what people just believe it to be. That was the other thing I tried to like wanted to clearly point out is there's a difference of rule of man and then rule of God. Which one do you fear more? Which one do you follow? You can't be in between on these things. You either follow God or you would follow man. You would hold man to higher authority to what the word says, or vice versa. So I was figuring on like doing very most like 10 minutes. So that's about as much like I wanted to just like talk again about it. Uh, And then maybe yeah, like what you were just pointing out, Doc. Another time could like look at some of those things, try to like talk a little on them, and especially if it like if we think need like more time on like certain topics. Uh, uh, last thing I'll just say is like highly encourage on if you want to understand what it means to fear God, just study God more. If you study the character of God and really how He is, uh, that's pretty much fearing God more. If you really have a passion to find that out, uh, and and that's a very healthy thing because God rids us the fear of anxiety, like where it gets to anxiety, where we're like afraid of consequences, afraid of like if we really have that kind of fear in life, we're just not trusting God then. Then we have a lack of trust. And not to say that we do veer off times like that. Like that's where Old Testament has good stories in that on to show examples of even like David or like Dave. I always think of like David because we are going through the study of like First Samuel, and I think end up going to Second Samuel at some point. Uh, but there's times that like you'd think a very godly person would never veer off like that, but some did. Not to be as a good example, but to show that like we're human, we falter, but it also shows just how much grace God has to forgive even when we falter. He's still made David king. He even made certain people that you would think shouldn't ever be king, but he made them king for a purpose. Like God even said the reason he raised and made Pharaoh as king was to display his glory, to display God's glory. That is. Uh, so he has a purpose, even if it's like seems like a just bad, wrong kind of like it. It's just like it's because we don't understand God's sovereignty, especially at the time. We could like look at it now in the Bible and like the whole story unfolded on like oh there was a big purpose to it. But like for our little understanding, uh, especially on what we see at the moment, uh, we don't see the eternal big picture that God has planned. So that's why we can't possibly say anything to say that that God is being evil and is doing a bad idea on His plans, because we can't comprehend it or see the end of it just yet. There's promises and there's like plenty of things that God keeps like has clear puts out very clearly for us. He doesn't on things that we need to know. He doesn't hide from us. He doesn't hide it from us. And which again, hence why we have the Bible. Okay. Be right back for just like 10 seconds or so. It's my easy way to like split the videos, because like yeah, I could like create a highlight and stuff in Twitch, but it's like it's more convenient if I just pause stream, bring it back up. So be right back when I bring up the game and stuff.